Welcome back, students. Today we are continuing the lesson Nutrition in Living Organisms, and our today's point is Nutrition in Animals. Earlier in few videos we have studied about nutrition in plants. Same like plants, animals too require nutrition for their growth. As how we require food, we require water for our growth, all animals require food, nutrition for their growth. So let's start about nutrition in animals. Before we could start nutrition in animals, I would like to display a small chart on role of nutrition and effects of their deficiency in plants. Here is the list of nutrients and their functions and effects of deficiency. What means effects of deficiency? Deficiency means when the particular nutrient will be less in your body, what harm will be done in your body? How will it harm your body? Nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, magnesium, iron, manganese, zinc, these all are the different nutrients present in the body of a plant, and there are functions done according to the nutrients. Each and every nutrient plays its own role. It does its own work. Nitrogen, important component of protein, chlorophyll and chloroplasm. Same like nitrogen, other nutrients also have their own role. The functions and the effects of deficiency are present. This chart is present in your textbook also. You can read it carefully. Now we'll turn to next point. Nutrition in animals. What are the steps in nutrition? Ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation and egestion. First of all, the first step of nutrition is ingestion. Now what exactly is ingestion? When food is taken into your body, that step is called as ingestion. Digestion means when the food is taken into your body and it enters your stomach. There are some conversions made of the food into a simple soluble form, which is done into your stomach. So that process is called as digestion. The third one is absorption. Transfer of soluble food into the blood. After the food is converted into simple soluble form, it transfers into the blood. Assimilation. Utilization of absorbed food by cells and tissues for energy production, growth and repair. Simply after absorption, that means when the soluble food is transferred to the blood, then it gets converted to energy for production, growth and repair. Of course, we all require energy for our growth, repair. Yes, and finally the last one step is egestion. Egestion means after all these steps, there is some material present into your body which is not required for further. That is removal of waste products and undigested food from body. That is giving out of unnecessary material after digestion is called egestion. Types of nutrition in animals. First one is holozoic nutrition. There is a picture of amoeba shown to you. This picture is also present in your textbook. You can see it afterwards. In unicellular animals like amoeba, it takes food particle inside the body with the help of pseudopodia. Now what exactly is pseudopodia? See my cursor. You can see here red particle, that is the food particle. Okay, and this yellow part is the amoeba. Yes. Now when amoeba comes to know that the food particle is coming closer to it, what it will do? It will try to extend its pseudopodia. These are the pseudopodia, the parts of the body which can extend. Okay, after it gets extended, and when the food particle gets into the body of the amoeba, it tries to close up the pseudopodia, and finally the food particle is present into the body of amoeba. After the particle is taken inside the body, enzymes work on it for its digestion. Same like as how our body enzymes work for the food digestion, same way unicellular animals like amoeba also have enzymes into their body, and later the unnecessary material is given out of the body. Here are the different types of animals. You can see there is man, then birds, deer, lion, so on, vultures, and so many different types of animals. Now, do you think so all different types of animal have their same way of living? No. Few animals require plants to eat. Few animals require meat. Few animals require insects. Few animals eat only fruits. Then few animals are in such case that they only eat dead animals. So let's study the different types of plants according to their habitat. Animals are classified into their types of food. First one we will study herbivorous. Animals which use plants for their food are called as herbivores. The word herbivorous first initial is herb. So herb means plants, and animals which survive on herbs, that is plants, are called as the herbivorous animals. Next one comes carnivorous animals. Animals which use other animals for their food. Let us give an example for herbivorous first. Deer, goat, giraffe, these all are the herbivores. Carnivores, animals which eat other animal are called as carnivores, like lions and tigers. They are completely, fully dependent on other animals for their food, but indirectly they are dependent on plants also. How? Because animals like deer eat plants, and lion or tiger when eats the deer, isn't it becomes indirectly dependent on plants? Yes. Next one is omnivores. Human beings is one of the great example of omnivores. What are omnivores? Animals which use plants as well as other animals for their food are called as omnivores. Scavengers. These animals obtain their food from dead bodies of other animals. One of the example is vultures. Vultures are the animals which eat the dead bodies. That is why these type of animals are called as scavengers. And the last one, decomposers, are these are the organisms which obtain their food by decomposing the dead bodies or material. Now decomposing means, I have explained earlier, decomposing means to make the food or the organism material decompose. Decompose means to spoil it. That are decomposers. Saprozoic nutrients. These insects or unicellular organisms absorb liquid organic material from the dead bodies of other organisms or from surrounding. For example, houseflies, spiders, ants, etc. They take the liquid organic material from the dead bodies. parasitic nutrition. Some animals depend upon other animals for food, like insects on dog, buffaloes, worms present in the intestine, etc. Now, there are two different types of parasitic nutrients. One is ectoparasitic nutrition and second one is endoparasitic nutrition. Ectoparasitic nutrition are which live on the surface of other animal to suck the blood like dogs and cows. Now in your surrounding you have seen sometimes dogs, cows where they have some other organisms, insects present on their body surface. So they are parasitic but ectoparasitic because why? The insects are present on the surface, that is outside the body. And endoparasitic nutrition is which are present inside the body to obtain their food like worms. Sometimes you also must have faced such problems. Yes, when you have a severe stomach ache, that time what doctor says us that there are worms present into your stomach in your body and the doctor provides you few medicines. Yes, so these worms are the example of endoparasitic nutrition. Here we cover up with the lesson. Thank you.